It's Platt, back with another episode of One Gallon Brewing. Today I show you how to brew a porter. So let's go. Alright gang, got another little fun brew for us today. You guys know I love kind of the darker, maltier beers. And if you're into things like stouts like I am, then you appreciate the porter. The porter was a precursor to the stout and kind of was really the first real dark beer available on the market. The porter came about at a time when the malting of grains took a big leap forward as far as the technology we use. They started using kilns to toast the grains to certain levels, and they started experimenting with darker malts, and the porter was really the first style to come out of that. So I'm really looking forward to this. This is pretty simple, straightforward brew. So with that being said, let's get to brewing a porter. All right, gang, first thing I did was I heated up 1.5 gallons of water to 160 degrees. We're going to go ahead and mash in our grains. Oh, sorry. As always, it's important to, while you add the grains, to stir. You don't want any dough balls. You don't want any lumps. We want to make sure we get the water to all the grains so we can get all those delicious sugars out of there. Make sure I get that. While I'm stirring this real quick, I do want to bring up a point I don't know if I've brought up in another homebrewing video, but mash in temperature. There are several schools of thought. I generally will get my water up to 160. By the time you add the grains, it gets you down in the mid 150s, which is kind of a sweet spot. If you decide to mash in at a lower temperature, let's say the high 140s, you get more sugar extraction out of it. But what that ends up doing is ends up creating a drier beer, where if you mash in, or your mash temperature is a little bit warmer, it helps convert some of those sugars into more complex sugars that don't necessarily ferment out, so you carry a little bit more of that sweetness. But it's a topic I've been wanting to get talk to you guys about. So I got everything stirred in. I'm going to put my lid on and let this sit for an hour, and we'll come back to drain the grains. All right, gang, it has been 1 hour. Time for us to go ahead and drain our grains. This is, of course, I keep saying in every video, the key advantage to brewing the bag. It just makes your life so much easier. We're not going to have to worry about the sparge. Let's go ahead and pull those grains out. All right. While we do that, I'm going to go ahead, turn the heat back on, and we're going to start heating up our wort to get ready for the boil. So let me drain this grain, and we'll come back to start our boil. Alrighty, we're just starting to begin our boil. We start to see the little foam coming up. We're starting to get our little hot break. So, I've always said you want to be right here. Yep, getting a little bit of foaming. Give her a quick little swirl that knocks off, again, some of that foam. All right. We're at the start of our 60-minute boil, and we're going to do our first hop addition. This is 0.4 ounces of East Kent Golding hops. Let's go ahead and let this hot break kind of finish off before we add our the hot break before we add the hops. Because, all right, now we'll go ahead and add the hops, because you'll see this will, yep. This is why you want to let that hot break happen first. Just between the two, you can get a little boil over. So we're going to let this continue to boil for the next 55 minutes. Then we'll come back and do one more addition before we flame out. All right, we're 55 minutes into the boil. We got 5 minutes left, and we're not going to add any more hops. We only have one hop addition, but we are going to add a quarter tablet of Whirlfloc. That helps kind of coagulate the proteins, kind of helps clear your beer out. We've also used Irish moss in the past, so I'm just going to add that in. And we're going to let this go another 5 minutes, and then we'll come back to chill our wort. All right, gang, we just finished our boil, and we're letting her chill down. One thing you may have noticed earlier, when I do these 1 gallon brews, we start off with roughly 7 quarts of water, or 1.75 gallons. And between the grains absorbing X amount of water and the boil off, we generally get down to around 1.2 gallons of total liquid. We'll put a gallon in the fermenter, and that last 0.1, 0.2 of a gallon of water is just true, the hop particulates, stuff like that in the bottom. We don't want that necessarily going on our fermenter. Now, on this particular kettle, as I've talked about before, there's a 1 gallon line, and we're actually below that now. That is all right. If that ever happens to you, that's an easy solution. You just add water to get back. As long as you put in the right amount of grains, you should hit your gravity target. Actually, this is kind of a good thing to happen, because now to get to 1 gallon, I just add cold water, or I add ice, which helps me chill the wort faster. Now, 1 gallon brewing, it's not that big a deal. I'll go ahead and start throwing in my ice. But 1 gallon brewing, it's not necessarily that big a deal, because we're only chilling 1 gallon. So it's fairly quick. But when you start brewing 5 gallons at a time, you'll start noticing, man, it takes a while to chill 5 gallons. Back when I was doing the 5 gallon kits, a lot of times I would adjust the water, or they would even advise you to adjust the water to where you may only do 3 gallons of water when you're preparing the beer, but you'll add 2 gallons of cold water to help you crash that faster. So it's something to play around with, this water volume. Again, especially when brewing bigger batches, because it just takes time to chill the wort. So I'm going to go ahead and chill this wort. We'll come back. I'll have the yeast pitched. We'll do a hydrometer reading, and we'll wrap up the video. All right, gang, time to wrap up. Real quick, back to the whole water volume thing. One thing I forgot to say was kind of where I was going with the whole thing was, most of these 1 gallon beers I've done, we start with 7 quarts of water. This recipe actually was 6 quarts of water. I forgot to say that. I converted it from a 5 gallon recipe. It came out to roughly around 6 quarts. I rounded it just down a little bit. Feel free to play with water volumes. I'm talking about a little bit, like once you start brewing regularly, you'll just notice sometimes maybe you're in a different kind of climate. I'm in a drier climate. Some people, altitude will affect boiling rate. So sometimes this stuff, it's just kind of geographical. But feel free to do this. We're not commercial brewing. You're not brewing for the Great American Beer Festival. Feel comfortable in playing around with this stuff. That's how you kind of become a better brewery. Real quick, let's jump into this recipe. We started off the mash bill, 30 ounces of pale two-row. A lot of classic porter recipes will have Marris Otter, which is a British-style malt. Marris Otter, two-row are close enough where you can kind of substitute each other. So don't, if that's what you got, pale two-row, which is what I had, use it. 1.6 ounces of chocolate malt, 1.6 ounces of black malt, 3.2 ounces of Crystal 80 malt. At the start of the boil, we added 0.4 ounces of East Kent Golding hops. 5 minutes left in the boil, I added a quarter of a Whirlfloc tablet that kind of helps clear your beer. Yeast-wise, I changed things up a little bit. Most of these ales, I've just been using Saf Ale USO5. I went with a Nottingham Ale Yeast. That is a classic strain for classic British pub-style beers. The porter is a classic British style. I had some of it, always worked good for me, so I decided to throw that in there. Let's get to the numbers. Projected original gravity, 1057. Projected IBUs, 33. Projected ABV, 5.3%. I did a gravity reading, and we came in a slight bit low at 1050. I threw some ice in. After I quit recording, I threw a little more ice back in. Maybe a tad too much, but we're still kind of in range. We still should end up somewhere around 5% alcohol by volume, which fits stylistically. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please subscribe down below. Also, please like the video because it lets YouTube know we're putting out good content. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or beers that you'd like me to try, please leave them in the comment section, or you can always contact me on the Twitter page. Till next time, bottoms up.